to talk a little bit about managing canola after harvest with our stored products engineer, Carol Jones. And Carol, like wheat, canola harvest is winding down, and there are some things for producers to think about.
There are. Canola is a fairly new crop for Oklahoma. It's been in the state about 10 years, but this year we had remarkable interest in growing canola, and we've had a pretty good harvest in most parts of the state. But it's much different than handling wheat. We're learning some new tricks, and we're doing some research on some other new tricks here at OSU to help the industry in Oklahoma become more mature, and being able to store canola in Oklahoma is a part of that maturity of this industry.
And in terms of storing it, how is it different than wheat?
Well, canola is a little over a third oil. So every time you picture a handful of canola, just picture a third of that being exactly like the oil you buy off the grocery shelf. A third of it would be that oil. So oil and heat don't mix too well. And when we harvest canola in Oklahoma, it's about 90 degrees. So that oil can go rancid if we don't handle that crop appropriately. Where wheat, we can put it in the bin and it's stable. Canola, not so much. It goes through about another 3 to 4 weeks of a sweat period where it will actually heat itself. So we've got both the temperature outside being 90 to 100 degrees plus the product itself heating itself. So we've got a real potential for rancidity to build, and we have to take some precautions to keep that from happening.
So if I'm a producer who's going to store my canola on my place, what kind of options do I have?
Well, there's 3 options. First of all, you can sell it directly to the buyer and just not have to worry about storage, and that's probably what most of the producers have done in the past few years. But as we get more information, we found out that we can put aeration in a steel bin, much like we have in the background here, and put air through that product and cool it off and keep it stable until time to store it. We've also got some research considering putting canola in grain bags. We've had good examples of that out in the field, but we'd like to find some better alternatives where it doesn't take up so much land and so many resources, but put the canola directly into a grain bag, seal it up, and it's going to be good 4 or 5 months from now to sell.
And you mentioned the research, so there's more to study.
There is much more to study. We've had some really good support from the Oilseed Commission and from some of our other granting agencies, and we've got some extensive research that's really pretty groundbreaking research here at OSU.
To learn more about that work, we turn to research engineer Kevin Moore.
Yeah, so Oklahoma has been coming a long way in the production of canola. We're the second largest producer of canola in the United States. So it's important for us to be able to figure out how we can continue to develop this crop in Oklahoma. But Oklahoma's hot, and most of the storage guidelines for canola are based on a northern climate where the temperatures are cooler. So we're always trying to deal with how can we prevent damage to the crop while it's being stored in these high temperatures. A lot of farmers have bins at their farm that they want to be able to utilize. And so the question is, how long can they store it without having problems with the canola? And are there other options that they could use for trying to extend the length of time that they could store the canola and the quality of the canola during the time that it's in storage?
To solve this problem, the team is looking to repurpose existing technology.
One of the ways that people have looked at storing canola is using grain bags, and this is an example of material that is utilized for grain bag storage. And these are usually spread out in large cocoons in a field. And the canola is put inside, and it's basically an air-free environment that helps to prevent breakdown of the material while it's in storage. And we wanted to look into seeing if this material could be utilized within a bin that didn't have aeration. So that's not usually an ideal situation for storing canola without aeration. But if we could find a way to utilize those bins that are already in place, then in certain situations where perhaps a farmer doesn't have a large area to lay down a grain bag, they might be able to utilize some of the existing infrastructure that they have in their current grain bins, utilizing some material like this in order to extend the amount of time and the quality of their product whenever they pull it out of storage.
While this research is just getting started, the team does have resources available that can help canola producers today.
We've got an extensive fact sheet collection. One talks about the moisture content and the temperature management of canola. We also have a growing guide. It was produced in collaboration with Kansas State University, and those are all available through OSU and through our website.
Okay, terrific. Thanks a lot. Carol Jones, our stored products engineer.
Thanks,
and
Rachel.
for a link to that website, just go to sunup.okstate.edu.